Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions. Thank you for our time together. Tonight I'm preaching on heaven, silent for 30 minutes. It's going to be a fun study as we talk about heaven is a noisy place and what would cause heaven, with all of its rejoicing, to grow silent for 30 minutes. And what does that mean? But right now, I want us to come back to the book of Acts chapter 21. Who did Paul rely on in difficult times? Paul is on his way back to Jerusalem, where he knows that bondage and difficulty and imprisonment await him. He knows that people are wanting to kill him. He had to take a very circuitous route back because people were trying to kill him even before he left the city of Corinth. So this is a very dangerous trip with a lot of people attempting to assassinate Paul. But who did Paul trust in these times? Now let me give you a couple of clues here. Verse 7. The next stop after leaving Tyre was Ptolemais, where we greeted the brothers and sisters and stayed there for one day. The next day we went on to Caesarea and stayed at the home of Philip the evangelist, one of the 7 men who had been chosen to distribute food. He had 4 unmarried daughters who had the gift of prophecy. Now, that's a fascinating study in itself. 4 daughters who prophesied. Now, how can women be silent in the church? How can women not have roles of leadership when you have 4 daughters that prophesy? Maybe some people are taking some scriptures out of context. Now, look on down to verse 15. After this, we packed our things and left for Jerusalem. Some believers from Caesarea accompanied us, and they took us to the home of Mnason, a man originally from Cyprus who was one of the early believers. Now, I want you to notice, when Paul comes to Caesarea and on the trip up to Jerusalem, about halfway at his stopping point, he does not stay with new believers. He does not stay in public places. He does not stay in unknown surroundings. He stays with people who were believers from the beginning. Philip, one of the first deacons. Mnason, one of the early believers from Cyprus. He stays with people who have been committed believers for a lifetime. Like him, people who have been believers 30, 35 years by this point in time. He trusts people who have lived a faithful life. Now, the book of Proverbs teaches us that when we rely on an unfaithful person in times of trouble, it's like having a broken tooth or a lame leg. It's going to be a painful experience. We have to learn that when we are in dangerous times financially, when we're in dangerous times physically, when we're in dangerous times with our health, we don't rely on new people. We don't rely on strangers. We rely on people that have proven their faithfulness and their reliability for a lifetime. Learn the lesson of the Apostle Paul. Don't trust new people. Trust old faithfulness.